Everyone has a story to tell, so what's yours? Our first guests are here to help you find out. We welcome the authors of How Your Story Sets You Free, Heather Box and Julian McQueen. Welcome, guys. Great to see you.
Hello, nice to be here. Thank you.
So tell me about you encouraging others to share their story, because a lot of us think, my life is boring, I don't have anything to tell, but there's value in all of our experiences.
Right.
Yeah, I think, every single person has a story to share, and a lot of us tend to discredit it, like you were saying. And, then you start talking to them and you realize that there is such immense value in the things that they've navigated, whether it is losing a loved one and how they have persevered, navigating relationship issues, not getting into the schools that they wanted. And a lot of times we hold back on those challenges because we think, oh, it doesn't really matter. But it can really inspire other people and serve as a roadmap.
And here's a little mantra of you guys up on our screen right now. If you knew your story could transform the world, would you be willing to share it? Tell me a little bit, Julian, about what inspired you guys to help inspire others to share.
Yeah, well, it starts with our belief that everybody has a story that's worth sharing, as Heather was just noting. Everybody's got something that they can offer. For us, it came from our background working. We were working in with some environmental nonprofits, and we would get to travel and see people at conferences and the like. And when we would meet them in casual spaces, they would be exciting, energizing. We'd get to see who they were and what they were all about. And so much of that was through the stories that they would share with us. And then all too often, they would get on a panel or be speaking to the audience in some way, and all of that would be gone. And it would just be the facts and the figures and sort of program notes, all important things, but a lot of times really dry. And so we just felt like, man, there's something here that we can support people with. And we started to really learn about our own stories. And just really felt like there was an opportunity to help people better step into their own, to their stories. And now it's not just for people working in nonprofits or leaders of any kind, but we really appreciate that everybody has something that they can offer and can be a leader, even just in their own family, even with their brothers and sisters or their cousins or at their school, whatever it is.
Because kind of honing these skills and taking your own story and articulating it, you can make personal one-on-one connections, or you can speak in front of a group of people and really capture their attention and make that connection as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So tell me about some of the folks that you guys work with to make sure that they've got their story honed in and they can make those connections too. Kind of a really broad spectrum, right?
Yeah, it's a really broad spectrum. So we've worked with people who have done TED Talks, like on the TED main stage, and their video has like millions of views on it. And we've also helped prepare people just to be able to talk about something that's really meaningful to them in much more personal ways. And so the range is really vast.
What about sort of making those connections person to person? Maybe the first time you meet somebody, there's some really good skills there. Coming into the holiday season, we're going to be interacting with friends of friends, people you've never met. Do you have great tips to make those connections immediately?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just thinking about the way that you engage with people. What are the questions that you're willing to ask and answer yourself? I'll share one that is just a really fun and simple one that you can learn a ton about somebody. We call it we call it a musical memory, and it's a prompt that we use. So like, what is your first concert you ever went to, or music your parents played for you growing up that has some meaning? It's a simple question like that can be, it's fun to answer. Most people love music, and so it can be so illuminating and offer you some real insight into their experience. I'm reminded of one person I asked that question. They said it was Russian marching music, and it's because their parents were Russian immigrants, and that music reminded them of the old country, and it was this whole huge story, and connection that I would have never known, and it was just from that simple question.
Mine's Spice Girls, not quite as exciting as
I'm
that.
not mad at it at all.
I'm transported back to 1997.
I hear that.
There's also a great idea of knowing your neighbor, because you never know what somebody is going through until you really dig deeper. So it's not just about your own story and pushing that out to the world, but making that connection with somebody else. Maybe you could help them through something that they don't even know, that you could be sort of a lifeline to them as well.
Yeah, and I think so much in our society right now, and we're seeing in the world at large, is we're tending to really other people. And we are expecting that we wouldn't have anything in common. And you go one layer deep. Like, you answer the question, who was someone important to you growing up? And you hear someone's response to that, and all of a sudden you can start to really feel who they are. So much more than like, hey, how was your weekend? Or what's new with you? And it's not that big of a question to ask, but it can create such meaningful connection.
Yeah. Are there other seemingly, I guess, as we would consider mundane experience or moments in life that you've been able to help people really open their eyes to say, wait a minute, there's something to be learned and shared about that experience that we just kind of don't realize as we're going about our days and trying to keep it going day to day, that you've helped somebody kind of tap into?
Yeah, so a lot of times we're working with professional folks. I think, one of the funny recent experience that I've had was actually with my own family. My dad, as he's getting older, he has a story of coming from rural southern Mississippi up to Oakland, California. Now we moved up to, my parents live in rural northern California. And he started to, kind of want to share more of his own story. And so one of the most, sort of important and inspiring experiences I've had recently that I didn't expect was getting to help my dad share his story with just me and my brothers. And we recorded that.
That's
and
so
it's
cool.
like now this gift that we have for the whole family.
Yeah.
And that has ripples out through, our extended family as well.
That's priceless.
Yeah.
And so many of our parents and our grandparents, they've lived incredible life experiences that we just don't even know to ask them about. What a beautiful gift. Hey, while we're on the topic of family, can we show some adorable photos of your beautiful
always,
son,
always.
who I was gushing over earlier? Oh my goodness, is he a 2019 baby? Is that when this would have been?
Yeah.
That's right.
What's he up to now?
Well, he's with the grandparents right
Yes.
now, so thank you so much to them.
Yes,
And-
shout out to grandparents.
Yeah,
Shout out. We were
Shout out
very
to
fortunate with
grandparents.
that.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's a little bit newer there, yeah.
What has he taught you guys?
Oh my
Oh
goodness,
my
what a fun story.
Yeah, I mean,
Loaded
I
question.
think a lot of what he has taught me is that whether or not you share what's on your mind, your child can feel it from you.
Yeah.
And sometimes he'll ask me questions that is almost exactly what I was thinking about. Or he'll be like, he'll hear me just do a little sigh and he'll be like, why are you worried, Mommy?
Oh.
And it helps me, it's a reminder to me to live more out loud with him and to
Yeah.
let him in on the little struggles that I'm going through and to know that he's learning from everything I'm doing. He's watching me navigate that. And so that's been a huge lesson for me.
They're so intuitive and
Yeah.
they notice every little thing, whether you
Everything.
like it or not. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and spending some time with us today. It was great chatting with you. Want to mention your book again. It is How Your Story Sets You Free, and we'll have more information on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.